Hello.
Hi.
Another good question. This is from Chelsea, who asks, or says, would love some advice goal-wise for those of us still holding part-time jobs and 2 small kids under 5 trying to transition to an illustration career. Is it even possible? I'm feeling impatient and a bit trapped.
Oh, that sounds like a tricky time of life to be trying to achieve anything, even helping the children survive or get dressed or brush your hair. So I think if you're going to try it, you should do it in a very low pressure way.
Little children are like more than a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people go to work and say, thank God for that. This is much less exhausting than parenting at home.
So she has a part-time job and 2 children. So the part-time job, when you get home from that, imagine you come in the house, there's 2 children, they've been looked after by somebody else. The house is a bit of a mess. Food might be needed. You definitely can't start working then.
Mm-mm.
Maybe you'd be able to carve out a couple of hours in a week. Maybe you could set your goals very low. Instead of I am starting this career, maybe it is I will carve out 2 hours per week to make some work.
That's what I'm thinking. Goal-wise, maybe it's starting to just produce little bits of work for yourself and allow that to build up over a year and see if there's a few pieces in there at the end of the year that you think roughly constitutes a portfolio or something I'd put on a website. Yeah. But just maybe play for fun, relate it to your life. I know that you probably want to escape from all of those things, but even if it is drawing the kids or listening to what they talk about and responding to that in illustration, that might be fun rather than thinking, I'll set myself a brief or I'll take lots of courses.
Yeah, being really kind to yourself as well, because I think it's so, when you said you're feeling a bit trapped, I think that's really common and people are scared to say it, aren't they? Because having small children, it's such a big full-time 24/7, you've always got to be there thing. You start to be a bit like, I just want to do my own thing again. So being really kind to yourself. And yeah, like Tanya said, like carving out time. But the annoying thing with that is carving out time is wake up earlier, like, what? With the small child. Or stay up later, like, oh no, sacrifice doom scrolling or Netflix time. Like, you need that.
Yeah, sometimes I think you do need that, just zone out. You've been in your part-time job, you've put some food on the table, you do need to zone out and you have to accept those are not times where you're going to feel like working, and that's fine. Also, little kids are not that, I know it feels like they're going to be little. Your life has completely changed. They're going to be little for a long time. But it's amazing how quick
it whizzes by.
Things move on. Before you know it, they're going to be at school, and then you've got those hours during the day while they're at school. So, yeah, if I was you, I'd just do it in a very low pressure way. Don't set your goals too high. Be realistic about it. Don't give up on it, though. No, it's definitely a plan.
And don't beat yourself up for not doing enough. That's the worst thing. If you ask too much of yourself, then you'll think, oh, this isn't working and I'm never going to be an illustrator. But if it's a small bit of work, maybe you work 20 minutes every day and no more than that, either on individual pieces or on a piece that you build up. But perhaps just, keeping your drawing going at first. I mean, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Sketchbooking and drawing. So you build a more confident way of visualising and drawing. You get a voice for yourself that you feel more at ease with.
Yeah. And Chelsea in the question didn't mention what a part-time job is, but that's a potential tweak that she could make. If the job she has doesn't allow for any sketchbooking, you could try and find a part-time job that is either, sitting around waiting. Like, I'm imagining, like, this is random, working at a petrol station or something. They always seem to be just sitting on their phones. I'm like, that's the ideal job for somebody sketchbooking. Yeah. Like, you could be drawing everything around you. Or like a job where you don't use any brain cells and you're just kind of on standby mode.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for those kind of jobs that don't sound very exciting, but they give you yourself back rather than doing a big, worthwhile, exhausting job.
Like a receptionist. Ideal. What do they do? Nothing.
A receptionist in a super
We're going to get
place.
So many emails, Katie. You can answer all these emails from receptionists and petrol stations.
Hashtag not all receptionists.
I also remember, it sounds like we're all kind of saying, set your goals very low, this is going to be really hard. But I do remember when Pi was born, it was one of the most creative times of my life. I remember just being so inspired by all the stuff she did and said that it completely transformed my picture books. Instead of being an illustrator who just thought about only the pictures and making the pictures as nice as possible and not worrying about the story, after reading to her, I realised, I know this sounds so silly. I'd made so many books and it's a bit embarrassing to admit it. But after she was born and I'd read lots of books, I thought, a book has to work on all levels. Who'd have thought? The story and the pictures have to work together and be amazing. And I found it really, really inspiring. It was hard to get a lot of work done, but it really, really fed my brain. And I came out the other side of it a better illustrator because of it.
So you got a PhD in picture book research, basically.
Yeah.
And that's valid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Call the reading of the storybooks at night. That's research.
Yeah.
But then I wonder whether the person who's asked the question, when they're talking about a career as an illustrator, I wonder what career they want.
Oh,
Do they mean
maybe they said
picture book or?
Did they mention?
They might have said editorial.
Yes, that rings a bell.
Yeah.
Let's open that question again.
Or did we imagine that?
Have a look.
Let's see. No, just an illustration career.
Oh, okay.
So that could be anything, really.
Yeah, I'd say with 2 small children, a part-time job, avoid editorial.
Yeah,
I was thinking
that.
Anything with short-term deadlines and quick turnarounds.
And low fees. They're not great fees in editorial, I think.
So I think it's like, what is building your career as an illustrator? Presumably this is the building your skills as an illustrator before you build your career. Because unless you've got a portfolio that you're ready to show and look for work, I wonder which stage she's at, because it would be easier to be building up your work, wouldn't it? Spend a little time. You could do 1 week, say, where all you do is look at colour and you create colour palettes every night. Just nice, low pressure, easy things. But it's super valuable.
On our website, because then we're just leading her by the hand to these small projects that don't take very long, but keep her hand
That's
in.
a good idea.
Yeah. Up-level your colour palettes, lay out a picture book.
Do a character
Set some
workshop.
goals.
Yeah, go on the freebie page on our website and there's something for all different kinds of illustrators and lots of little projects that all kind of link together. And just take as long as you want on them. Maybe you just do half of a project one evening and the second half another evening.
It could also be that thing, when you are squashed for time and you've got loads of pressure on you, sometimes you get really motivated and that's when you do your best work. So I remember, my child, try not to say her name, is 2.5 now, but we did the business course. That was what should be 1.5. And the only way for me to have time to make the course or get anything done was to get up at 5 a.m. and go into the studio. But I was buzzing to do it, and it felt like that was like stealing back my pre-baby life a bit and being like, yeah, go, and then just like talking about business and then going back home for breakfast with everyone, which is now saying it out loud and that's mad.
I think though, when you've got a goal like that and you're really, really motivated to do it and you know that this is short term, this isn't going to go on beyond like 3 months or something. When you're really focused, those kind of goals can be really achievable. If you carried on trying to do that forever, you would have a nervous breakdown. But when it's a short, motivated period of time, I think that's good. Also, before Pi was born, when I had all the time in the world to illustrate, I took all the time in the world to illustrate.
Yeah.
A book would take me forever. The whole flat was basically a studio. Every bit of the flat there were bits of paper on the floor. I would stand on little bits of paper I'd cut out and get into bed, and the bed would be full of bits of paper. Like my whole life and everything was just work. But then after she was born, that was not possible, and I had to fit my work into very neat little sections of time. I had a friend who had a baby at the same time. She'd come to my flat, take Pi out for a couple of hours. I would do the same for her, and we knew we had those couple of hours to swap where we could work. And I worked so hard and never did as much work in those couple of hours than I did before Pi was born. So it can be useful.
Yeah.
Because I think projects expand to fill the time you've got. I noticed when I was a regular contributor to a magazine and I did this map every month, I would finish the map at 6 o'clock on a Friday. It would just naturally finish. And I think I started to learn my capacity to do things in a given time. And after a few times saying, I'm only going to do 3 days on this, you start to work that way and you don't give it any more time because you haven't got that. And that's a much better way of working, instead of thinking, this could be better. I'll give it another day. I could improve it. It could be better than this. It's kind of the worst mindset, isn't it? You need less time and do what you can with what you've got.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Do what you can in the time you've got with the skills you've got. That's it. That's all you can do. That's doing your best.
Yeah.
Who's the lovely illustrator who draws stories about her little boy, and she's on our picture book course?
Is it Polly Dunbar?
Yes, Polly
Oh, yeah.
Dunbar.
Love her stuff. Yeah.
That's a really good example of trying to of combining your life, the life that's around you, and your desire to draw and to tell stories. Yeah, look up Polly Dunbar's work, and her little drawings of her son on her Instagram are just beautiful.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good luck. Maybe you could let us know how this goes.
Yeah,
Get
keep
in
us
touch
posted.
again. We want to know what happens.
You can do it, unless you don't want to, in which case you don't have to.
Maybe don't get up at 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.